Okay.
Ah,
I did not. Virtual background.
Chris with the puppies.
All right. So
It's warranted.
We just finished it
I
a
do
few
believe
hours
it's
ago.
warranted.
Oh,
But I'll let you guys, I'll let you guys
start with the heavy.
I did feel I had a rough go of it in junior high, and
Chris had feelings.
well, yeah, no, I had a really rough go of it in junior high and high school. Maybe not to the level that's these kids did, but I didn't get my growth spurt till way late, so I was a little kid, and I was very awkward, and I didn't make friends easily, and I got painted with the F word brush really early, and it followed me all the way to Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And so just watching the mechanics of these kids have this really tight relationship, but then they get to school, and little kids are dicks, like they're fucking awful, and they will find anything to paint you with a brush that makes you an other. And like, I think it's just it's like it's in our DNA, right? And so just watching how this went from, they've got this thing that's working, they get to school, all it takes is just a little bit of, why are you guys like this?
Are you a couple? That was fascinating.
What's weird is that if this is taunting, it's kind of gentle Belgian.
It's what is this? This is
gentle Belgian taunting.
Yeah, exactly.
Belgian taunting, right? Like,
so you're a couple. Oh, that's interesting. It's like, it doesn't exactly mean, it is, but it's not exactly.
That's all that it takes to spin this relationship off of its axis just enough,
right?
Yeah.
And on some level, you go, well, maybe it's okay that they're starting to like create relationships outside of this dynamic, like that's healthy. But this movie chooses to kind of go a different direction with it. And then the only thing I'll say is there's like a good, I don't know, like it was like about the 40-minute mark. Like I need another drink. But there's like, then there follows, it seems like it's about 50 minutes of kind of misery until you get to what I'm guessing is the point of this movie, which is about what is it? It's about responsibility, right? Like that this kid goes to the mom.
Oh, you're a spoiler, but yes.
Takes responsibility, like whether he's right or wrong, takes responsibility. I drove him away. And then the movie's over.
Yeah,
but do you think that's legit? Do you think that he
might be in his brain?
You think he said it because he felt it? You think he said it because this is kind of calm as his ex-friend?
I think he said it because he felt it. He was being crushed by it.
Maybe. Yeah. That's true. That's how they're building misery in the second half.
It took him multiple tries to say those words. He went to their house like 3 times or at least twice, and then took the bus to the hospital where she worked. The mom worked. That was incredible to me.
But it's also it's a hell of a thing.
And the mom came and saw him play hockey as well.
Yeah, he had so many opportunities that he couldn't do it.
Yeah, he admitted at the end that he felt responsible because he pushed him away. But the way I was watching the film, I didn't agree with him.
I didn't either.
No, I didn't. It's like the kid was obviously had, that this is an interesting film because it kind of is purely a Freudian Arrested Development theory for homosexuality. You know what I'm talking about? It's like Sigmund Freud thought that homosexuality came from us, that whoever has it, they simply don't get to a certain point of development, and their sexuality freezes when they're boys, right, or girls. They're attracted to their friends. This has been disproven many times.
But this is kind of the dynamic in the film.
This is dynamic in the film. That there was the one, Leo, the guy. He feels that the taunting, but he feels like he needs to move on and connect with, maybe he's attracted to girls. Maybe he wants to do other things.
I don't think he looks at a girl in one scene, but it's social pressure that makes him realize he needs to make a distance.
But Remy is fixated on him.
But doesn't Remy break away first a little bit? Like he's kind of the first to kind of push back a smidge.
Well, he has his own thing with the music. I thought that was kind of
but I like it was there was a two-way thing going on where I felt like Remy pushed away first, and then Leo pushed, and then Remy came back.
Yeah.
And by that point, Leo's got the hockey going.
They get in 2 physical fights, and the first one that is so brutal. is the one in their bedroom, where it starts out kind of like playing, and we've seen them in that situation before, just having a nice conversation and laying together. And then this time they fight, and so much so that they sleep in separate beds, right? For the first time.
Well, that's what the fight is over. Get back in your own bed.
Right. And it's just so, I mean, I was already, you know, it had its hooks in me emotionally.
Now I'm going to circle back to what Chris said. I lived this myself as a kid. I had best friends, and I've been pushed away by them, and I pushed some friends away. Growing up,
it's what happens.
We all grow up at different rates. And the cool thing about this film is it kind of focuses on that. It's like this really happens. It happens all the time, and I thought that Remy's kind of reaction was extreme. Killing yourself, but
the movie also never really spells out specifically that's why.
Well, and exactly.
This form your own interpretation of, like, because at some point I'm like, well, did he kill himself because of that, or because he had other things going on that the movie just chose not to show us?
Clearly, I mean,
I think he has other stuff going on. Clearly.
Leo can take the blame because he's that age where he thinks I did this. But Remy, clearly, not every kid would react that way to being rejected by their best friend.
Yeah, and it was like clear. It was like a jilted lover thing almost. It was like really sharp.
The second fight at school was
that was pretty.
Well, that's kind of
Remy wanted to pound that. He slipped away from the teacher and went over there and kept pounding. That was a tough one, man.
Okay, can I talk about the filmmaking for a minute? Because I think this movie is so amazing in that it's like so many movies about childhood are clearly filtered through the adults who are making the film. Yes. And you barely feel that in this movie.
Agreed.
And yet the adults are important characters, but they don't have to be the viewpoint.
They are, but they're not the viewpoint. They're not the point of view characters. And they're pretty goddamn inarticulate too, for the most part.
Everybody in this film is inarticulate. Everybody is very reserved.
I loved that there was never a moment where you got the outburst that would be, oh, here's the Oscar scene, that never happens.
That's not that kind of. That's not this kind of.
It's not that kind of movie.
Also, did anyone here see Girl, the first one?
No, I didn't see that.
Dude, this
was good.
Oh my god, that's a kick in the teeth.
What's the film, Scott?
It's called Girl. It's this guy's first film.
No, I have not seen it.
This is about a trans girl who was also a ballerina and is trying to go through the transition thing, and it's all this. It's handled in a very direct and very graphic way in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
it's the emotional, where this is kind of like lyrical and like starts out and that's intense. That film is intense. And I could see this guy's style going from one to the other. Really.
Oh, is it the same director?
Same director, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so it's kind of like this guy is kind of focused on pubescence, prepubescence, sexuality, and that thing like that. Well, he's made two films with the same basic subject, there's some it's a style, it's what he wants to do. This one I thought was like a little less like shocking, and this was a lot more lyrical. Again, the first
it's beautiful.
First 15 minutes of the film, and he lives in a flower farm, for God's sake.
This stuff was great.
My God, yes. Also, I mean, again, that feeling of like really being dialed into what it's like to be a kid. That just that long tracking shot that's behind you, Chris, of them running. It's like we as adults don't just go running for the pleasure of it. It's usually like, oh, I got to go work out, and you run. But this was sheer joy, and you felt it. It's like, I remember that, just running because you could run as fast as you wanted for the fun of it.
It's interesting to hear all you guys talk about your childhoods, because for me, the bullying didn't start really hardcore until high school.
Was anybody in this room?
But I was like, yeah,
brutal. Freshman,
I was
the worst.
Yeah, I was severely bullied in high school, called the F word all the time, because I was into music and art. Like I drew and had a little band that sucked, and we were just having fun.
I showed up at school wearing a Devo t-shirt in Durango, Colorado for my sophomore year, and it was like putting a target on my back for the rest of the
yeah.
I was bullied in high school, not junior high. Actually, I was was like to succeed in junior high school. I was very popular in junior high. But in high school, though, it's just I had some boundary issues with some of the bullies on the campus, and that got me in trouble a lot.
Oh, I was always writing check. My mouth was always writing.
I know, that's the thing. I was like, I was kind of used to being an important guy. I got on the campus, and I was a small little freshman. I'm like, fuck you. Like,
I'm gonna out clever the bully, and that's gonna work out great.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you go from an 8th grader to being a freshman, you're suddenly like the biggest kid in school to being the squirt.
Tiniest kids, exactly.
Yeah.
It's weird. But also with these kids,
Question.
they're
So, 'cause
basically
I watched it twice. I couldn't figure out when he gets off the bus, when all that horrible scene where
Oh,
go up and all the parents are waiting for him, and he runs
Yeah.
to his friend's house, and he looks through the window. What are we looking at? Because I watched
I love that part too. The best I can
is that
come up with is you're looking at where he probably locked himself in the
That was
bathroom
my-
or his
no,
bedroom
that's where mom,
where he did
they
it.
had to break down the door.
Yeah, they had to break the door open to
That's
get
not a
into it.
gunshot. That's them breaking down the door.
They broke down the door because they said, "Don't lock yourself in the bathroom again."
There was that. Okay, thank you, John. There was a small scene where it says, "Don't lock yourself in the bathroom," right? Because maybe this kid had some issues.
Yeah, so see, he had issues on top of
Yeah.
Yep.
So that was kind of
Yep.
interesting little
Yep.
hint.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was terrific.
That was
It's a very beautifully done, depressing as fuck movie.
it was I thought more mainstream than the first one in terms of like how it was put together, but it won me over. It did. At the end, I was like watching the whole
At the end, it's just like they leave, right? Like that's
They moved. How could you continue to live in the house where your child killed himself?
Yeah.
That's just natural. You're just gonna
It all
go.
makes sense. It's just that okay. I guess that's over.
Yeah, I mean, and for him, it's that's a chapter of his life that's over.
Also, the construction of the scene where they come back, coming back from going to Dunkirk. I think it was Dunkirk, and they came back to the school, and that's where you find out the suicide thing.
Yeah.
That was beautifully constructed.
The mother's performance in that scene.
And I am sorry. I am sorry I cut that, but it went on for a long.
Oh, I was just teasing you, but I think when I saw this at the Alamo Draft House, and honestly, this is true. This is true. When she walks on the bus and that performance, that scene, that moment, I started crying.
Yeah.
And then I never stopped crying for the rest of the movie, even when I mean, I had different ins and outs of it, but I was just in tears.
She was amazing. Just captured the screen.
Fucking brutal.
You're with her in this thing. You're watching this thing build where she didn't know what to say. And the emotions are kind of, you can watch it. It's like a tea kettle boiling a little bit.
We could talk about all the performances, but these two young boys, I mean, these performances were so natural and beautiful.
A lot of great eye acting in this movie.
There is.
Well, I love how this filmmaker will just film a character laying in their bed, and that's the scene. That's the whole scene.
Yeah.
It's it's lyrical. It is.
You could. I'm glad you said that, Jared, because there's a few scenes where it's like in a different movie something would happen, and in this movie nothing happened. It was like it was all things not being said.
Yes. Yeah, I actually said that as I walked out of the theater. I said those exact words. I said a different filmmaker would be like, this scene has to be about something, but this filmmaker's like, I'm just going to film them.
No, it's about tension and not relieving the tension.
Also, let me point out that Chris just put up the scene of the hockey team there.
Oh yeah.
It looked like Leo was never ever having fun playing hockey.
No,
it looked like an ordeal from the beginning to the end. He's drilling, and he got his arm broken.
He still got better at it though.
But no, I will say, because I joined the cross country team specifically because I looked around like I gotta join a thing, otherwise I'm gonna be completely on my own over here.
And that was Leo's motivation.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean the kid that called them a fag was the guy on the hockey team. Like he joined.
Oh, I mean those fuckers locked me in a lot. They would stuff me in lockers. The fucking cross country team. I mean, like it wasn't any better on the team, but at least I felt like I was attached to something.
Right. Yeah.
Well, my response to being bullied in high school was forming these SoCal High science fiction club.
So you went a different way, Scott.
Still going.
I could have used that.
All right, you guys.
Said a fucking word.
No. Okay. Well, first of all, before we get to
Tad's got to go because
Jim gave me his comment. Jim said,
"Oh yeah, Jim."
Jim said he liked it. That's it.
That's it. Well, at least he probably watched this one. I doubt he watched the next one.
Although he and I both agree there's something about Belgian films. They got a screw loose in that country. I'm not sure what's going on. All right, go ahead, Tad. Sorry.
I don't know what you want me to say. Like I went back and I rewatched the thing that Chris said that was the clip from a couple of weeks ago about how films can give you empathy and it can make you like understand a world that you don't know and walk in people's shoes and stuff like that. I never need to walk in the shoes of someone who is bullied. I never need to walk in the shoes of somebody who was made fun of for their sexuality or who they loved or what they cared about or anything like that. I hated this movie. I hated every fucking moment of it from top to bottom. It's good. It's a good movie. It's really well made, but I never need to see anything like this ever in my life. I don't need to walk in those shoes because I walk in those shoes today.
Fair enough.
I still think I think I hear you, and I think that for other people who also walk in those shoes, this might be something that they can connect with,
but not for me.
Right. Yeah. And find recognition.
I'm not telling people not to watch it. I'm not saying that you're bad for enjoying it. I didn't need to see this, and I never want to see it again.
I have a couple films like that. I've seen them. Like, I don't need to see this.
I know that I
not for me.
Yeah, I'm not going to use the word enjoy it. I think it's
admire it more than I enjoyed it.
There you go.
I enjoy it in the way that I think it's art. That it's the kind of movie that I think I'm attracted to simply because of how effective it is and how brilliant it is and how beautifully it's made.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to help. I'm sure it's going to help people out there, and that's good. It's not going to help me though.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, and overall, I do think it has the treatment is so respectful and sensitive overall, right? It's
sure.
Yeah.
It's just
I was almost Remy at one point in my life, so
there you go.
Well, there you go. Yeah, and it's like that, Tad. What I'm getting from you, which I completely understand, by the way, is like
that close.
I would never have, or you would never, not me, but it would be hard for a rape victim to watch Irreversible without being like, I can't like this. I just can't do this. I just cannot do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I think that you expressing that, first of all, that's courageous of you. And I also hear from all of us the other bullying that has gone on, maybe not for sexuality, but for perceived sexuality from others.
It's an easy go-to.
I denied being attracted to men up until a year ago.
Right.
Well, that's pretty fresh. Then it's like, how could you disconnect from this?
Right.
Yeah.
And again, I was this close. Like I was this fucking close. Mm-hmm. So I hated it. I hated it. It's a fantastic movie and I hated it.
All right. Well,
yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay. Well, I guess we could.
Well, I thought it would be okay to get the heavy thing out of the way first, so then we can have fun.
I never heard of this movie. Like I said, I admire it a lot. I don't probably.
I read about Don's films before, and that's why I reviewed Girls. Because it's like that. This guy has a definite pattern. He does. He's interesting.
I want to say one thing to you, Tad, and not for TMI. Okay. And it really wasn't about my sexuality, but it was about the bullying that I was also right there at one point, like to the point where, like, I could have just went like this with my finger, and then it would have been done.
Yep.
So sorry to get really heavy and to
yes, could cut this out, Scott. It's fun. It's
what?
Yeah,
like, Jared, I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
All right.
Still.
Okay.
We'll go to the cards.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's
puppies.
As a work of filmmaking, it was just
work of filmmaking. It's this.
Yeah.
My experience of watching it is absolutely.
And I'm taking a point off because it didn't make Tad feel good.
That's legit. That is legit. Okay. All right. I gotta get.
All right. Now we can refill and have some fun.
Stiff refill. I think.
Yeah.